Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be answering your questions from Instagram and YouTube community thingy. So let's get to it. First question: what do watches and coffee have in common other than being both used by Adrian Barker? I think he's not the only one. A lot of people I know, they're into coffee and watches. His idea is something that I do agree with, and that is that coffee is unpretentious, and the way that he looks at watches is also in a very unpretentious way. I love the traditional side of coffee making, right? You have so many different ways of brewing coffee. You've got the French press, you've got the mocha pot, you've got the V60 filter, origami filter. There are so many different beans to try out. I'm a Muslim, I don't drink alcohol, so coffee is my beverage of choice. And that I feel is similar to watches, because with watches, again, you have so many different brands, so many different movements at different prices, and there's just so much to explore. There's never enough that you can learn, you know. So both of these things they kind of go hand in hand, in my opinion. Okay, this is a pretend cup. I'm not drinking coffee right now. I'm gonna have tea soon. I'm also from Pakistan, so I love my chai. Next question: top tip for watch photography. I don't know. I was thinking of making a video on this. If you guys want, just let me know in the comments. There's no one answer to this, but I would say lighting is the most important thing. You could spend a lot of money on camera, or you could just have your cell phone. If you don't work on your lighting, it's not gonna make any difference. Right now I have two different lights. You know, one is my main light, and one is kind of a filler light. And that's something that I do with watch photography as well. But because there are a lot of shiny, reflective surfaces, you kind of have to work with reflectors. So it could be a piece of paper, it could be a whiteboard. So just surrounding your watch with that, it really helps. What's your opinion on wearing Homage watches? I don't like them. I do understand why people buy them and why they wear them. Watch hobby is very subjective. You can wear whatever you want. Clones, fake watches, I'm against. I speak out against them because it's a criminalized industry. So of course, people who are manufacturing those fake watches, they might not be getting paid. There's a lot of human trafficking involved. Homage watches, it's just that, it's just trying to be something that it's not. There's no character to that watch, right? It's not just about the movement. So I'd say no. I would spend my money on something original, something that has history, even if it's a Casio, even if it's a Seiko. But that's just my take. Nothing against whatever you want, except fake watches. Totally against that. What's your least worn watch and why? I've actually given away some of my watches to my family and my friends because I realized that I wasn't wearing them, and part of that was me, just getting into the hobby a few years ago and then just buying a bunch of watches that everybody else was talking about, other channels were talking about, and you just get kind of overexcited. Oh, I have to have that. I have to have that because, the way that these guys are talking about these watches it's so convincing. It's very sales pitchy. So I ended up buying them, but I just realized that I had no personal connection with these watches. I just bought them for the sake of buying them. For me, the watches that I own and I enjoy, like this Seiko Baby Alpinist, it has a meaning behind it. Any watch that I have a connection with, that I buy for a specific reason, I tend to wear those a lot more. One of my least favorite watches that I still own is a vintage Casio digital. I don't know the reference number, but it's again one of those hype watches that I just bought because everybody was talking about them, but I never really connected with it that much. Last question: best steel bezel watch under 5,000 pounds. The first option is if you want to go for something a bit dressy, something that is appropriate for the office environment, that kind of thing. I would go for a Nomos Ludwig 251. This is just such a gorgeous watch. From all of the Nomos watches, there are quite a few that I like. This is one of those that I just absolutely love. The white dial, the blue hands. You have to handle these watches in person. Don't just write them off as boring just by the images. I've actually handled a Nomos and it completely changed my outlook towards them. The way that it sits on your wrist, the proportionality, the sizing, the lugs, the movement finishing, it's just every single thing is so perfect. Of course, you can get a Longines for $2,000, but you can also get this, which is the Longines Avigation A-7 1935. And this is not trying to be a Vacheron historic. That's a driving watch. This is more of an aviation watch. It has its own history. The design is based off of its archive. So this is an original historical Longines design. And I just love the case. I love the dial. I love the font of the indices. It's just such a perfect watch in my opinion. Norqain is a really interesting brand. It's not just marketing gimmick. Everything that they do, the materials, the movement, the dial finishing, everything is so unique, and it's made to be an indestructible piece that you can wear while doing your extreme sports, while doing your hiking, your mountain climbing, whatever it is. This is the watch to wear from mechanical watch side. And then of course you have Jean-Claude Bivet, his involvement with this brand that just is kind of like cherry on top. And finally, you have a brand that most people don't know about, and that is Gorilla. Now, Gorilla is a very interesting brand, but what's special about this brand is that it is made by former senior designers, like design directors of Audemars Piguet. So you have Octavia Garcia and Lucas Gopp, and this is not a well-marketed brand. I've spoken with a few independent brands. It seems that some of the, I'm not saying Gorilla, but some of the brands, they intentionally don't spend money on marketing. They're creating very small amounts of watches. They're not these huge brands that can just pump out millions of watches every year. They are small brands with small teams and a very tight manufacturing process. And because of that, they already have kind of a following, a cult following that's very much into those brands. They don't need to become mainstream. That's the point. Doesn't mean that they're not good, but it's just that they don't focus on marketing. This offers a wandering hour complication. And that is so cool to have at this price. Just the case itself has forged carbon, titanium, and ceramic and aluminum. It's made of all of these. Just a really cool watch with a really cool backstory. There you have it. These were some of the questions that I wanted to answer. And I might be doing a part 2 because I still haven't answered all of the questions. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the notification bell, all of that YouTube stuff. And I will see you in the next one.